Most people think success comes from having the right idea. But here's the truth nobody talks about. The graveyard of business is filled with brilliant ideas that never saw daylight. Not because they were bad, but because the person behind them was psychologically unprepared for what comes after the idea. Today, I'm going to show you the invisible force that separates those who build empires from those who die with regret. And it has nothing to do with talent. Let's start with something uncomfortable. You have been lied to. Society taught you that the idea is everything. That if you just think hard enough, dream big enough, you will crack the code. But that's a fantasy. Because ideas are cheap, execution is expensive. Here's the first psychological trap: idea intoxication. It's the high you feel when inspiration strikes. Your brain floods with dopamine. You feel like a genius. You start imagining the success, the recognition, the freedom. And in that moment, you convince yourself the hard part is over. But it hasn't even begun. Think about this. A guy named Derek spent 2 years perfecting a concept for a fitness app. He had spreadsheets, market research, a name, a logo. He told everyone about it at parties. His family believed in him. He believed in himself. But Derek never launched. Why? Because the moment he sat down to actually build it, reality hit. The coding was harder than he thought. The marketing required money he didn't have. Partnerships meant rejection after rejection. And slowly the dopamine faded. The idea that once felt like magic now felt like a burden. So Derek quit. Not because the idea was bad, but because he fell in love with the dream and feared the work. This is where most people live, in the gap between inspiration and action. And that gap is where good ideas go to die. It's the weight of starting. Now let's say you are different. Let's say you actually start. You take the first step. You launch the thing. You put yourself out there. Congratulations. You are already ahead of 90% of people. But here's the second trap, the threshold of doubt. This is the moment when you realize nobody cares. You post your product. Silence. You reach out to potential customers. Crickets. You pour your heart into something, and the world doesn't even notice. And this is the moment when your psychology gets tested. Because your brain starts whispering lies. Maybe this isn't meant to be. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe the idea wasn't that good after all. Let me tell you about a woman named Claire. She started a small online bakery. Homemade cookies. Beautiful packaging. She posted on social media every day for 3 months. 0 orders. Not one. Her friends liked her posts, sure. But nobody bought. Claire felt humiliated. She started wondering if people were laughing at her behind her back. The shame became unbearable. So she stopped. She deleted her page. Told herself she tried. But here's what Claire didn't know. Success wasn't around the corner. It was around the 100th corner. She quit at corner number 12. The psychology here is brutal. We expect momentum. We expect validation. But the beginning is designed to break you. It's designed to filter out those who need external approval to keep going. And if you can't survive the silence, you will never hear the applause. The discipline nobody sees. Let's talk about someone who didn't quit. Colonel Harlan Sanders. You know him as the face of KFC. But here's what most people don't know. He started franchising his chicken recipe at age 62, after his restaurant failed. After he was broke. He drove across America with a pressure cooker in his car, sleeping in the backseat, trying to convince restaurant owners to use his recipe. He was rejected 1,009 times. 1,009. Most people can't handle 9 rejections. This man faced 1,000. But here's the key. Sanders didn't have a better idea than everyone else. Fried chicken wasn't revolutionary. What he had was something rarer. Psychological endurance. The ability to hear no and keep moving. The ability to be humiliated and still show up the next day. The ability to ignore his age, his circumstances, his fear, and keep executing. This is the third trap that kills good ideas, the collapse of consistency. Most people can work hard for a week, a month, maybe even 6 months. But when the results don't match the effort, they break. They start cutting corners. They start blaming external factors. They start telling themselves stories about why it's not working. And slowly, without even realizing it, They stop doing the daily things that would have made it work. Success isn't built in the big moments. It's built in the boring ones. The unglamorous grind is the days when nobody's watching. The decisions you make when you are exhausted and tempted to quit. That's where empires are born. It's not in the idea, but in the discipline to keep going when the idea stops feeling special. Is the truth about failure. So here's the powerful truth they don't teach you. Failure isn't about having a bad idea. It's about having a weak relationship with discomfort. Every single person who failed with a good idea quit because their psychology couldn't handle the gap between effort and reward, the gap between who they were and who they needed to become. It's the gap between expectation and reality. You see, success doesn't require genius. It requires stubbornness. It requires you to become the kind of person who doesn't need to see the finish line to keep running, who doesn't need proof that it's working to keep building, who doesn't need permission from the world to believe in themselves. The graveyard isn't filled with bad ideas. It's filled with people who couldn't outlast their own self-doubt. And that's the tragedy. Because the only difference between someone who made it and someone who didn't is often just 6 more months. 6 more months of showing up. 6 more months of belief. 6 more months of refusing to let the voice inside their head win. So let me leave you with this. If you have an idea right now, if there's something sitting inside you waiting to be born, understand this. The idea isn't the test, you are. Your ability to execute when it's hard. Your ability to stay consistent when it's boring. Your ability to believe when everyone else doubts. That's what will determine everything. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for more skills, more money, more confidence. Start messy. Start scared. Start small. But start. And when the silence comes, when the rejection comes, when the doubt comes, remember this. That's not a sign to quit. That's a sign you are exactly where every successful person has been. The only question is, will you be the one who stays? Your idea deserves a chance. But more importantly, you deserve to see what you are capable of when you refuse to give up. Now go build something the world has never seen. Not because the idea is perfect, but because you are ready to become the person who can make it real.